beat goes on, the beat goes on, the beat goes on, the beat goes on, night long.
I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, so let's take a chance to do a new dance. For I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, sing la 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 la. All the folks have all gone wild, oh what a howdy do. It is because two funny chaps thought of more something new. Side by side you start to glide, forget all your troubles, let everything slide. For I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, sing la 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 la.
At the Liverpool Empire. My two guests are Mickey Starke or Michael Clarke or Sinbad, whichever name he's going under at the moment, and Roy Brandon. First of all, to Mickey Starke, starring this week at the Liverpool Empire in White Christmas.
How are you, mate? How are you?
Fine. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, it's great fun. It's a cracking show. I was so chuffed to be offered it. It was brilliant. 4 weeks at home.
Brilliant.
Right up to New Year, so fantastic.
And you play Captain George Waverley, I think it is, isn't it?
General Waverley. He was a general.
General Henry Waverley.
Yeah, he's a 3-star. He's a 4-star general by the time apparently he retires, but he's only a 3-star. Actually, we started watching the film in our Ailey's yesterday, and at the beginning, in the first scene in the movie, he's only a 2-star general. So promoted, so there you go.
Promoted.
3 stars, you can see him through the ceiling.
And as well as that, apparently there was a member in the audience of the British Armed Forces, and you've been voted Salute of the Month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I do it right? I can't remember if I've done it right. No one seems to know it.
Because there's a right and wrong way of saluting, isn't it?
There is.
It's the way you have your hand, isn't it?
Yeah. But I've been watching the films, though, and it's kind of like, they do it.
Yeah.
A snap.
Yeah, the Americans do it different. To
Yeah,
the
they do,
British,
yeah.
don't they?
Benny Hill used to do it like that. So we do it like that.
Good evening, viewers.
Wait, Christmas. So I can't do that. But
I'll be talking to Roy Brandon as well in just a moment about totally different thing. But White Christmas at the Empire, it's a 7-week run, you were saying, was it, Mick?
Yeah, we did. We started off in Truro and Cornwall, then Nottingham, Sunderland, and now we're here for 4 weeks. So perfect.
I mean, it's great getting the work, but it's not easy, is it? Because you're away from home most of the time.
Yeah, well, I was getting to a point where I was thinking, I don't have to go away so much now, And then, of course, the pandemic came and kind of twisted everything round. And so I took, I did a year touring. But having said that, we weren't sure how long it would be because we were testing every day. It could have been a month, could have been 3 months, 6, But we took it sort of 1 month at a time. Unfortunately, we stayed with it. But so many shows closed. I mean, White Christmas last year in Edinburgh, this closed.
Yeah.
And they didn't get any notice. They came into the theatre one day and just got told, that's it, you pack your stuff and the show's over. It's heartbreaking. And I don't think the business is fully recovered yet.
No.
And of course, Mickey, you're appearing in the play with a legend.
Yeah.
Judy Garland's daughter, Lorna Luft.
Lorna Luft, yes, she's amazing.
People know Lisa Minnelli, but Lorna Luft is an incredibly successful performing artist.
Brilliant. And she's so different. She doesn't miss a trick. She's so funny.
And it's like looking at Judy Garland when you're in the audience. It really is.
Yeah, she knows. Sit and have a coffee with her, and she's just Lorna from the show, and then someone might mention something or something will pop up, she'll go, oh, and she'll have a story about it. And if she doesn't know that person, she'll know someone who knows them, Yeah. And it's amazing. There's some of the stories she's told. They're just incredible,
You told us one before, tell us it again.
Well, we were sat having a cup of coffee, and she loves she knows all the great arrangers and people, and she was talking about people that she liked. Michael Bublé. She said, "Oh, honey, Michael Bublé, he does Frank Sinatra arrangements." And so one of the guys in the cast said, you don't happen to know Frank Sinatra, do you? She said, honey, he was my godfather. We all like, jaw dropping. And she just says, I mean, it's not, she's not trying to show off or do anything.
I'm just saying, no airs and graces.
Yeah, absolutely. And she knows where she is in the great scheme of things.
Yeah.
You know? And she's great fun, doesn't miss a trick. She's a real pro. And everybody in the cast loves her.
Yeah. And while you're watching her, you're watching her perform, and you're listening to her sing, she's not there because Judy Garland's her mother. No. She's there because of her talent.
Yeah, she's paid her dues. She's been around the block, and she can tell you a few things. You know what I mean? And we're in awe of her. We really are. She's great fun.
Great songs, great routines. I loved the tap routine.
Oh,
I thought that was incredible.
Amazing. Stephen Mayer, he's just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we come down, I get a slightly longer interval break, but I come down to watch the tap every night because it's, I think, how do they do it? How can human beings do that?
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Burton and
it's a dying thing, isn't it?
Well,
tap?
it was. It really was. And you talk to some of the youngsters in the show, and they learn it at drama school, and it was, I suppose. And then they started doing musicals again about 15 or 20 years ago, and then it was a revival. And then, I mean,
it's very impressive, isn't it, when you see it live?
Mate,
it's so clever.
As I said in my Facebook post, it's one of those many Hollywood films which are. Listen, guys, let's put a show on.
Let's do the show right here.
There's so many like that, weren't
totally. And it sort of recreating that is, we thought, well, how are you going to do that? But you change things slightly, and there's a couple of numbers that are juxtaposed, as they say. And that is for me.
You're not as daft as you look.
Why, thank you very much.
Nobody could be that daft.
Well, go and get me a picture. Anyway, but yeah, it is amazing, and people that have come to see it have absolutely loved it.
Oh, well, wonderful! Great night of entertainment, really
thanks.
was.
That's great. Thank
and
you.
it's
so
great
much.
hearing those old songs again, which you're totally forgotten. But once you
Irving
hear them
Berlin.
again, you can almost remember the lyrics.
Absolutely. They're just everybody knows them. And somebody said that the other day. They didn't know the show and didn't know the film, but they knew the songs.
Yeah. Falling in love with the lovers, only if I make believe.
And falling out of love can be fun. That happens to be my favourites at the moment.
Yeah.
And the three girls do that one. But
so it's I mean, you've done well, Mickey. You've been in television and you've made quite a few movies. You've done a lot of stage shows, and it's a precarious business that you're in, acting, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So how does this part come about? Are you approached? Does your agent put you forward? Do you audition for it?
Well,
because you do have one of the best American accents in the business, Michael.
Cheers.
I'll tell you.
Thanks very much. I mean, I seem to. I've carved a little niche for myself. I just play old American gits now,
Yeah.
So that's. Which is because he plays an old American, but no. I worked with Ian Talbot, who's the director. I worked with him in Anything Goes about 150 years ago.
Yeah,
and
he
rang my agent and just said, ask him if he fancies working at home for 4 weeks, and we got. But they apparently tried to get me a year or two ago, and I was busy. Can't believe it.
But, in demand.
But there you go.
You better ring quick.
But it's nice. It's nice to get offered, and it is difficult at the moment, and. Even through the pandemic, I mean, Roy and I were talking before about work just like vanished. Mine and Lynn's work just completely vanished. But we were lucky, some people, were a lot worse off than we were. So, and then I got a couple of phone calls with some nice little telly things come in, and we just managed to keep going. But you have to keep there. You got to be. You have a profile, and people remember you, and thank goodness they remember you. And ring you up.
Anything planned for next year?
Nope.
There we are.
That's
acting game.
Yeah, that's it. But the thing is, I think since the pandemic, I'm sorry to go on, but I now think, by Jove, and I now think I'm not worried as much as I used to. I just think, you know what, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if I work, then great. But I'm not going to sit there looking at the phone anymore and panicking about
lifting the phone up, see if there's a dialing tone. Has it been cut up though?
And of course, you're a showbiz family, so it's not very often you're together at Christmas.
Well, that's
because
true.
Hayley's at the Royal Court.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
So you've got 2 out of 4 at home at least. That's something,
bad,
isn't it?
Hayley's, she's part of the team down there now, and Drew's her uncle. Yeah. And she tells him off instead of telling me off now.
That's the Scouse Jack and the Beanstalk at the Royal Court.
God, great fun.
Right, now, Roy Brandon is here with me now, and in case you think he's here just to make the numbers up, he isn't. Just listen to this. That's the real thing, and the closest you're going to get to that are my two guests at the moment, Mickey Starke and Roy Brandon, who did Laurel and Hardy's Sons of the Desert at the Royal Court, and it'll never be surpassed as far as I'm concerned, Mickey and Roy. You two were just... I mean, when you take on two living legends like that and crack it, you cracked it.
It was, yeah.
It was
such an honour, wasn't it?
It was dead easy, really, because we just really clicked, didn't we?
We did.
We never fell out or anything, did we? We wouldn't
fact,
anyway.
We wouldn't. But no, he used to help me up the stairs. At the end of Act 1, we used to do the slosh. I was about 5 stone heavier. I really was. And I'm going up the stairs, and we didn't have time for a cup of tea or anything. We had to get showered and all that.
Yeah.
And he was pushing me. And of course, Kevin put us about 9 floors up,
on the roof.
Doesn't work.
So when you were approached, okay, Roy's done Stan Laurel for many, many years.
Yeah.
Laurel and Hardy probably never occurred to you, Oliver Hardy.
Not with my looks,
In a certain light.
Well, in a certain light, he did. But we would once or twice have done it because we both loved Laurel and Hardy. But I knew Roy's standing with it, But it was interesting. They wanted to see us both together, and Roy was coming in, and he had the full Stan Laurel gear on.
Yeah.
And I was in a t-shirt and jeans, and Kevin and Ken Alexander and Howard were there. And so when Roy got there, we got to the door, and he said to me, "We'll do the door gag," And I knew exactly what he meant. We walked up to the door, opens it, he's looking that way.
Yeah.
Roy goes in behind, and I look, and he's gone 10. And he does. And that's all we did.
But it was brilliant though as well on that when we did that. That was the little intro of it.
Yeah.
And then one of the cleaners walked past. Somehow I can't quite remember that.
So there's Abbott and Costello.
So we got a little bit more. We got a little bit more out of it because she did and we did the old door in the face.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Sort of worked.
That's right. Yes, you
got a
the
little bit more out of it. Yeah. So it was as if it had been planned, wasn't it? She was part of the act.
It was great. And then they were laughing and they just.
But then we read, didn't we? And we just it was dead easy, wasn't it? And then we did another little bit more, didn't we? And
But those
around
routines,
and it was great.
Roy knew them backwards, and he's been telling me them for 40 years. I mean, we first worked together 40 years ago, and it's and so it was always in our heads, but it was just a great
It's
move.
funny when we get together because, as you say, our first proper theatre jobs were in Cavern of Dreams, wasn't
That's
it?
right, yeah.
We did
Yeah.
1985.
Got the
It's a
programme
great
for
show,
it,
wasn't
yeah.
That was our first proper sort of theatre things when it and we've known each other for all them years, but that was the only time we ever worked together.
Yeah.
Apart from Brookie, I did some Brookies with it and all that.
Yeah.
But we never really worked together till this again.
Well, until that's right. Yeah, that's right.
But Laurel and Hardy's, one of the gifts is their mannerisms, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've both got so many mannerisms. and Stan's delivery and Oliver's reply are so important.
Yeah.
And you two were taking the part of showbiz legends in the biggest letters you can write out.
Yeah.
You were taking on. And doing the Sons of the Desert, it had never been done in England or America.
No.
And you
First
took it
time
on.
one of the movies has been done live.
Yeah.
Which was a big selling point anyway, wasn't it?
And one of the things we were a little bit concerned about was making, the way Ollie would turn to the camera and look at and these little looks and things, because it's theatre and, it has to be bigger. But we would look out in the audience and see all the fezzes. Everyone was there, and they didn't miss a trick.
Yeah.
They'd watch whatever was going on, and we just acted it the way it would be acted in the...
Yeah.
He would do it, and then do it afterwards, because... They were looking at both things, and they were watching it filmically.
And that was the sort of scary thing, really, because you knew that everybody out there knew it back to front.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
if you got a
had
laugh,
to be
you knew
right,
you were
didn't
doing
it?
it.
Otherwise, they're going, that wasn't right.
If you
that
don't
didn't
laugh
work."
at Laurel and Hardy, you're a corpse.
There's something wrong with it.
I agree. Yeah.
It's funny, though, isn't it? There are some people I met only recently, and people say, well, I never really got into
No, it just
Laurel
leaves
and
some
Hardy."
people cold, doesn't it?
I said, well, then try and get into them then.
The question is, do you think it might have been better received than if it had been in London, publicity-wise?
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean... Well, we were told, weren't we, that
It
one of
was-
the girls in the show knew someone who was looking for something, to fill 3 months.
Yeah.
He didn't need any names in it, but something. And they're doing Sons of the Desert at Liverpool. So someone came up to see it, said it's perfect.
Yeah.
There was an issue about the size of the set.
'cause
The set was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
it
was.
Mark Walton was brilliant.
you did a
Clever.
scene on a roof.
Yeah,
It was clever, wasn't
Yeah.
it? The way, it was
Incredible.
clever.
everything
Yeah,
sort of
it was.
came in. It was great fun.
You know, it would have done a stormer in London
Yeah, I think
because
so.
Laurel and Hardy are
Tourists.
global, aren't they?
Yeah.
Could you do it
Everybody.
anywhere else in Liverpool? I mean, I know the scenery is something you'd have to
Yeah.
negotiate with, and
And probably, I mean,
it's got to come back. It's got to come back. I mean, you know yourself, Mickey. You get pestered. When's Laurel and Hardy
Yeah,
coming
people
back?
could-
You get,
yeah,
and you
people
do. You
do,
get
yeah.
pestered. Why
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
it coming back on?
Yeah.
People are sort of bewildered why it's never come back.
Yeah,
again, aren't they,
I
really?
mean,
But
and it's interesting.
it's
But
just
I,
show business, isn't it?
or maybe even another
Should we give
film.
Kevin Fearon's address out and people can actually go and knock? People can go and knock on the door.
Yeah. We'd be made up with that, wouldn't
Get these two
But,
fellas back here. For
Yeah, but Kevin was such a fan. I mean, he wanted to do it, and but I think we could have done another 3 months, couldn't we?
Yeah.
I think so.
We got all the Sons of the Desert. They're called tents, aren't they? I don't know
Yeah,
if people know that. But a lot of people go from Southampton, Plymouth, and
Yeah,
stuff, didn't
yeah,
they?
everywhere,
And they were
yeah.
sort of raving over, oh, this is fantastic, this is fabulous, and they were lovely, weren't they? And
You didn't see those girls, did you? I think you got home. I was-
I got home. I couldn't be bothered.
He's one of them. He goes home after the show. But there were two performers there. I think they were French, and they were Unity or something. And they were wearing dark clothes, and one girl was bigger and more athletic, and one girl was tiny. And they'd come to see the show.
Right.
And Ian Christie said, "You've got to see these two girls, the performers." And the bar used to be in the
That's right,
auditorium.
yeah, the back of the stuff. Yeah.
And then they said hello, and then the next thing they turned and they just did white powder on the faces.
Right.
And one girl turned around and just went like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there was the tash.
With the tash, yeah.
And they did a mime of Stan and Ollie.
Yeah.
And it was
right.
absolutely breathtaking. And
Right.
I said to her, you missed it. It was 2 minutes, and they do a lot of stuff.
All right.
And I thought they should be up there doing that. 'Cause it was-
So I was probably on the train going on by
You're
then.
probably on the train, yeah.
Listen, lads,
Getting shouted.
we're running short of time. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks,
I
Billy.
must apologise, Rory, because many times when I mention on my Facebook what great saxophonist we got in Liverpool, I keep leaving you out.
Well,
and I
so
shouldn't,
you
because
should.
you're a great saxophone player as well.
Oh,
and
well, that's
I'll
kind
make
of you
sure
to
that
say.
I
Thank you,
amend
yeah.
that in future.
Oh, well.
And Mickey, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Billy. Anytime, mate. Thank
Love
you.
to all the family.
Yeah,
and
cheers,
get
mate.
on to the Royal Court. Bring Laurel and Hardy back. It's as simple
Put all
as
that weight
that.
back on.
Honolulu, baby, where'd you get those eyes? And your dark complexion, and a ride of lies. Honolulu, baby, where'd you get those eyes? And your dark complexion, and a ride of lies.
While down on the South Sea Island, underneath the beauty of the stars, I strayed upon some maidens who were drumming on their guitars. A hula maid was dancing, and I knew it found my paradise. So this is what I told her as I gazed into her eyes. Honolulu, baby, where'd you get those eyes and the dark complexion? I just idolized. Honolulu, baby, where did you get that style and the pretty red lips and that sunny smile? When you start to dance, you hula hip the rest, then you shake it up and down. You shake a little here, you shake a little there. When you got the boys going to town, Honolulu, baby, you know your stuff. Honolulu, baby, gonna call your bluff.